Hi, my name is Susan and I teach mandala stone dot painting, and I'm here to teach you how to do mandala stone dot painting like some of the stone samples here on the table. So mandalas have been around for thousands of years and have been used by many different cultures to symbolize unity and harmony through their circular structure. And mandala stone dot painting is a really fun activity that's enjoyed by all ages, and there's no art experience necessary. So there's very few supplies that you need. I just use acrylic paint, which you can get at any craft store. I buy this at Michael's, just the basic Craft Smart paint. I think these are like 79 cents, or you can buy them in a bigger pack, and Michael's always has a coupon that you can use for like 40 cents off. And then the stones you can find out and about. You just want smooth stones free of any cracks or pits on them. And if you can't find them out near like lake shores or rivers, you can buy them in a bulk bag at, I really like the ones at Lowe's. They're about $11 for a 30-pound bag, or Home Depot has them also, or locally at Bachman's on Lindale has them seasonally outdoors. You just bring a bucket and hand pick them and fill them up, and I'm sure a lot of other landscape stores have them as well. And then to put a clear coat on them at the end, I just use this DuraClear polyurethane gloss finish, and you can also do like a spray-on finish as well. And lastly, the most important part are the tools that you need. So through my classes, I sell these tools, oops, not with that one, these tools that you can buy, and I'll have my contact information at the end of the video. You can also find tools online through Amazon, or you can do your own DIY sort of tools with either knitting needles that are flat on the ends, or drill bits, or different kind of skewers like this that you may find. This is a great one that has a pointed end and the flat end. You can also use like toothpicks or possibly glue sticks. Anything that you can find that's round and flat on one end. So we can get started doing the dotting. First thing that I usually do, I like to paint my stones black, or you can leave them just the natural stone, or you can paint them just any other color, like this one is blue. But the biggest thing is, when you do your base coat on your stone, you just want to do a very thin layer. Any other color but black tends to need a couple coats on it. Just keep it thin. If you put the paint on too heavy, when it's time to do the dotting, the dots will go on kind of ripply, and your dots won't go on nice and smooth. So just paint a nice smooth base layer like that, and then you can just set your brush in a cup of water, and then you can just, as we let our stone dry over there, we'll get started learning how to do the dotting. So when I teach how to do the dotting, I like to teach people with one of the smaller size tools, and the dotting's pretty easy to do. All you do, you dip your tool in the paint, and you want to have kind of that glob of paint at the end of your tool. And the key is, you don't wipe it off like you might wipe off the end of a paintbrush. So keep that glob of paint, and then make sure you hold your tool nice and perpendicular, and we're just going to practice on a piece of paper here. Keep your tool straight up and down, and then you just barely touch your tool to your dotting surface. You don't want to press it down real hard, just barely touch it. And the other key is to dip and dot each time. So dip and dot. Another tool that comes with this set, or if you buy your own set, is this tool. It's the one that manicurists use, so it is probably available at places like Sally Beauty Supply. And this technique is called walking the dots, and it can only be done with a tool that has a rounded ball at the end. So this is the only time when you don't dip and dot. You dip it once, and then you can dot, 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 and you get about 5 or 6 dots that get progressively smaller on their own. So again, you dip it once and then dot, 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 dot. So it's really fun, and it's where you, I have a sample. So on a design like this where you have one large dot and then you walk the dots down to the left and then you dip it again and then you walk the dots down to the right. So without having to use 6 different tools to get smaller dots. So that's called walking with the dots, and again, you can only do it with a tool that has a rounded metal ball at the end. So we can move on to what's really important is doing the spacing, and I can show you that real quick. So when you do spacing, so you have your center dot, and then you grab a smaller tool and you do your top, bottom, side, and then the other side, and then you just go in between those, and this makes it so your dots are perfectly spaced out. And then from there, as we'll do on the rock in just a minute here, you'll just go out a little bit with the larger tool, and you'll slowly work out a design with progressively larger tools. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll move this to the side. So we'll go back to this stone. So I will start, maybe we'll do this for our center dot. So I'm going to do our top, bottom, left, right. So this is our basic 4-point start, and then I go in between those, and that leads to 8 dots. And then I take the next tool size up, and I will switch colors. The tools that I have are a 13-piece tool set. Again, there's different ones available. Once you have your 8 dots that you're starting with, then you can just go around. You don't have to do your top, bottom, left, right again. And your design possibilities are pretty endless. You can do whatever you want. You can come back in with a small tool. You can go in between these if you want. Do something like that, or I could have done 2 dots in between. So just for time's sake, I'm going to keep it kind of brief. So you can do, again, I have all these different tool sizes, so you can keep going in with bigger ones. I can do a larger one here and then take this tool and walk the dots down on each side. And then from there, I have this design, which I did earlier, that's pretty dry. And again, since we're barely putting pressure on it, you can do top dots, where you can do a different color right in the middle, or you can do it off to the side. So your top dots, you can do something like this. Like that, right? So top dots often add some interest to your design. And if you ever mess up, you can take a Q-tip and kind of wipe away the mistake, or sometimes it's easier just to let it dry and paint over it with the background color. Or sometimes it's easier just to wash the whole thing off since it's just a rock. Or with a top dot, you can do it off to the side, something like this. So top dots don't always have to be kind of a bullseye in the middle. They can be in any direction you'd like. And even though in the beginning I said mandalas were a circular structure, as you can see from the samples, they don't have to be circular. They can be, with mandala rock painting, you can do something like this. You can put tape on either side and do a design in the middle. You can do a swirl design, which is something I teach in the classes, or you can do you can either paint a design, which I tend to do with the metal pieces. I dip the paint in and just kind of mush it around in a font that I like. You can either use transfer paper and tape a font that you printed out, or just do it in your own handwriting and then just dot around it. But I find using the metal tool is easier than using a paintbrush, or you can just use like a metallic Sharpie and just write it and then dot around it. So there's tons of different ideas. And this is another one that I like to point out too. Depending on the rock shape, you don't always have to start in the middle of the rock. If it's more of an oblong shape, you can start over on one end and do a design more like that. So as I said in the beginning, the designs are endless. Once you get started, it's fun to have a lot of different tool sizes and just play around with all sorts of designs and top dots and paint colors. So again, my information, it will be at the end of the video. Feel free to contact me if you have further questions, or if you're interested in a toolkit with additional instructions that I include, or there's always Amazon too for more instructions. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.